What's going on, everybody? It is Christros here, and today we got another very great video for y'all, and it is Adamancipators. Once again, this is going to be the 40 card deck list, and this is after the September 30th ban list for Master Duel. So the big one is that Halki Falibrax is now banned, so now you can't go into the Halk Aurodon combo bullshit. So our extra deck has changed quite a bit. And because of that, I cut down for 60 cards, as I said before, 40, and we'll go into it. I had two other decks here up, and they want the D. Both those would be showcased later on, but right now, we'll just go straight into Adamancipators. So, this is our deck list. Let's go through the card by card, and I hope everybody enjoys. So first off, we got one Plague Spreader Zombie. It's a level 2 tuner. This card does actually come up every now and then. If this card's in your graveyard, you can place one card from your hand on top of the deck and special summon this card. It does set up a rock monster, so you can use your Adamancipator effects and actually guarantee you hit them. So you can top a supplier, a guardian, and you can actually get it off your effects and actually summon. It doesn't come up that often. I'm actually thinking about changing this card out, but we'll talk about what I would add later on. Then for our hand traps, we got 3 Maxi. Maxi is still in this game, and it's stupid. I haven't really showcased Maxi in any of my duels. I don't think it's a fun card to play or even like get played against. But as of right now, the meta, it is highly necessary. There's so many combo decks that the special summon, 90 plus cards a turn. So Maxi is just a way to slow that down quite a bit for you. So if you don't know what Maxi does, this card is very simple. During either player's turn, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. This turn, each time your opponent special summons a monster, immediately draw 1 card. And that's every time they special summon, you just keep drawing cards. In case in certain decks, they could stop their combo completely because they don't want you drawing all the outs, So it's a really good card, definitely comes in handy. We got 3 Ash Blossom Joy Spring. Ash Blossom, you can discard this card to stop and negate an effect that adds cards from the deck to your hand, special summons from the deck, and or sends a card from the deck to the graveyard. Really great card, definitely worth running 3 of them. We have 3 Nibiru. Nibiru is a really good hand trap. Basically, if your opponent summons or special summons 5 or more monsters in a turn, quick effect, you contribute as many of those face-up monsters as possible and special summon this card from your hand, and then you special summon a token to your opponent's side of the field. It's a good board wipe, and it usually can stop opponent's turns right away. And then we have 1 Cross-Out Designator. It is at 1 copy instead of 3. Cross-Out, I think it's just a good card because if you do draw it in your hands, and if they want to Ash, Call, Bide, or whatever the case is, you have a really good card for it. So, just FYI, I think it's definitely worth running. Now, for our actual main cards, we got 3 Doki Doki. Doki Doki is a really cool card. You could discard 1 rock monster, special summon this. You could special summon, for me, deck 1 rock monster that has the same original attribute and level as that monster. So basically, you could summon it, discard 1 rock monster, like a rock level 2, and you could special summon a earth level 2 other rock monster from your deck. Mostly, you want to try to discard like Analyzer, or you could like discard supplier a earth level 4 and you can get like Analyzer to your hand. It really depends on the plays you want to go with, but basically you could discard 1 to get another, so it's really good. For our main Adamancipators, we've got 1 Seeker, 1 Researcher, and then 2 Analyzers. You want to run those cards no matter what, that's the ratios you're going to want. Then for our last Adamancipator, we got 1 Dragonite. Dragonite comes up into some water, which does come important for one of our synchro monsters, but basically if you do end up special summoning this card by effect of Adamancipator, you can draw 1 card. Then all the Adamancipators is you could activate the top 5 cards of your deck and then special summon 1 level 4 or lower tuner non-tuner rock monster. That's Seeker, that is Researcher, and then of course Analyzer. They all do the same thing. Basically you can just get rock monsters, special summon them to the side of the field, keep on getting advantage. For our non-analyzers, we got 3 Guardian. Krakimiro Guardian, it's a really cool card. This card's on the field, you contribute it to negate a monster effect. Then we got 3 Supplier. Kikimiri Supplier. If there's a face-up rock monster you control sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summon, you could add one. You could add to your deck 1 Iron Core or 1 card that mentions it, and the card that mentions it is going to be Guardian. So basically, if you special summon Supplier, you could add Guardian from your deck to your hand. We got 1 Block Dragon. This card is banned for a reason, and this card is stupid. It's searchable in this deck by ways of Granite. By one of our extra deck monsters, Gown Granite. But basically, Block Dragon is you can banish 3 rock monsters, well, 3 earth monsters from your hand or graveyard. Rock monsters you control cannot be destroyed except by battle. If this card is sent from the field to graveyard, you can add up to 3 rock monsters from your deck to your hand, whose total level equals 8. The advantage you get from this card is just crazy, and it's so easy to be able to special summon it because you can continue special summoning it basically out of every turn because our deck has full of earth monsters. For our extender, we got 3 Parallel XCs. This card does come up quite a bit. So basically, if you XC a summon, if you leak summon, you can special summon this card from your hand to the zone that leak monster points to. If this card is normal special, you can special summon 1 other Parallel XCs from your deck. So basically, you can link off to like Samurai Almirage. You can special summon Excelled to the zone it points to, so the bottom right. And then you can use that special summon yet another Excelled. So then you have 3 monsters on the field. You can start going into like unicorn plays and stuff like that. Or since you have 2 level 4s, you could go into Gown Granite, get Block Dragon, or any other Adamancipator monsters you need. Like Analyzer, like Researcher, because you control a rock monster. Then you can special summon it and continue on new plays. It's really good, definitely worth running the 3 XCs for that one reason. Now for our spell lineup, this is where the flexibility kind of comes into play, and I'll kind of explain what I mean. We got 3 Dark Ruler or more. I think this is a staple in this format because, as I stated before, a lot of the main decks right now you're going to be up against, and it's only going to get worse as more and more sets come out, are really monster effect heavy. So that really relying on spells and traps is relying a lot more on monster effects. So Dark Ruler just blankets all of that. Dark Ruler states you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn. Also, for the rest of this turn, this card resolves so your opponent takes no battle damage. It's stupid and it's really good, and it could negate all face-up monsters your opponent controls. We're running 2 Lightning Storm. This is really for back row hate, but I'm actually thinking about cutting it, and reason why is because you really kind of want room for Call by the Grave. So in reality, I will just take out the Lightning Storm and add 2 Call by, and to me this would be even better. I was running Lightning Storm because I was running it some back row heavy decks, but just so you know, you can get that out and add Call by if you want, and that's another target for your Crossout Designator. So just an FYI on that. Then for our last card for the main deck is 2 Adamancipator signs. I'm only running 2 signs instead of 3. I was running 3 for a long time, and it is a really great card. So if you want to run 3, you can, and I'll cut Plague out of the deck completely because Plague doesn't really do much. So I'll just cut Plague and add another sign, and that will be your deck right there, right? So Adamancipator sign is a really good card. You can target 1 monster and 1 rock monster in your graveyard, special summon it into defense position. Then if you special summon an Adamancipator monster by this effect, you can take 1 level 4 lower rock monster from your deck and place it on the top of your deck. So basically, you could special summon any rock monster from your deck, from your graveyard. So we have multiple targets. So like I said, we have a lot of targets for it. And then if you do summon, like I say, Researcher, you can place any card from your deck on top of it. So you can stack like Supplier on top of your deck and guarantee that Supplier's effect will go off. And then you could summon your Researcher. You could special summon your Supplier. Supplier's effect will get you Guardian to your hand, and you could sync her off for level 6, and you could just continue your effects from there. It's really good, definitely worth playing, and I'll show you some plays with it later on in the video. Now for our extra deck. My extra deck is not great. It still needs some work, but yet again, I was playing around since the new ban list. Since we don't have Hulk and Aurora Dawn, I couldn't go into Cupid Pitch anymore. Hair of the Diviner, all that line. So I was like, what could I do to make it still good? And this is what I came up with that actually was working really well. So first off, I got 1 Core Dragon. Core Dragon is a really good card. It's level 6 and it's still a tuner, so you can still go into some interesting plays with it. Once per turn, you can discard one card, then target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. If this synchro summon card is sent from the field to graveyard, you can draw one card. We got one Desert Locust. Desert Locust is this card synchro summon. The turn player discards one card. Simple as that. We don't really have a way to get to it. That's the issue with this. We don't have a way to actually summon it during your opponent's turn. It's just there as a body for like a level 6. And it can set up my graveyard to get more rock monsters in it for like Adamancipator sign. But reality, you don't, like, I can't really do this on my opponent's main phase. It's just there as a level 6 tuner. So we got one Lino Knight. I do go into every now and then, but it's not often. During your main phase, you can activate the top 5 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can add one activated Adamancipator card from your hand, from your deck to your hand, and place the rest of them on the bottom of your deck. And that's any Adamancipator cards. That is spell and or monster. Then, as an effect, if you have a fire monster in your graveyard, you can target one monster in your graveyard and special summon it. But we're never using that effect. We're just using the activate card to add one to your hands. We got probably the best Adamancipator card for the extra deck. One, Raptite. Raptite is amazing. During your main phase, you can activate the top 5 cards of your deck. And if you do special summon one activated rock monster in defense position, that's any rock monster, which is just stupidly good. Then you can place the rest of them from the deck to the bottom in any order. During your opponent's turn, if one monster is in your graveyard, you can target one card your opponent controls and banish it. When your opponent's graveyard and banish it. We're not using it for the second effect, but at first one we are, because you could easily special summon in your Adamancipator cards if you get it, like your Seekers and Researchers, and that immediately allows you to use their effects, and it goes into level 8, and since that's the Synchro, we could go into our next card, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Crystal Wing is a really great card. I've featured it a lot in my decks, and it's a really good card because once per turn when a monster effect is activated, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that monster. Then this card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. Then, if this card battles an opponent's level 5 or higher monster during damage calculation, this card gains attack equal to the current attack of the opponent's monster. So, it's really hard to hit over. Then on top of that, it has a great negation effect for monsters. Definitely worth running. We got one Borreload Savage Dragon. If you already have your graveyard set up with links, this is a great card to go to. If this card's synchro summon, you could add one. You could equip one Liquid monster from your graveyard to this card. If you do, place Borrow counters on this card, and this card gains an Omni effect based on how many counters you have. So, really good card. We have one Dragonite. Dragonite is a really cool card. Basically, you can activate the top 5 cards of your deck and return cards your opponent controls to the hand up to the number of activated rock monsters. Also, place the activated cards on the bottom of your deck in any order. Then the effect of water does come up because we do have one water in our deck. We have the Crystal. And basically, it's a spell trap negate on a quick effect if you have water, which we will have water. We have one Baron de Fleur, one of my favorite cards. This is an Omni negate and once per turn pop. We have one Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign Chainlink. This is a generic level 10, so if you already wasted your Baron de Fleur, if you have another level 10, you could go into Chin-Chang. And the fact if your opponent starts banishing, you could just easily start banishing cards. So like I said, it does come up quite a bit, and it is good. So just, yeah. We have our only XZs, Gallon Granite. Gallon Granite is really easy to go into. Like I said, if you have Pella XZs on the field, 2 level 4s, you can easily XZ them away and get Gallon Granite. Then you could basically detach one material from this card and activate one effect. You can add one rock monster from your deck to your hand, or special summon one rock monster face down in defense position. You want to use that first effect, add one rock monster from your deck to your hands. It's really good, definitely worth running. Now for our links, we got one Salme Almirage, we got one IP Masquerena, one Nightmare Unicorn, one Access Code Talker to close out games, and last but not least, we got the new Borderland Dragon. Borderland Dragon doesn't come up too often, but yet again, if you can make it, your opponent can almost never out it, and it will just win you the game right away. And that's it for our deck. It is actually really kind of great, and I hope you all enjoy, and let's get into the games. Alright, for this first game, we're up against Great All. Now, ever since, what was it? The Master Saga series for Yu-Gi-Oh! I've seen a lot of people play Great All, like, quite a bit, and it's a fun deck. So my opponent goes first. He's going to T-set and pass. Interesting enough, I draw pretty well, so I actually end up going Lightning Storm, destroying his spell and traps, and I get I destroy his Call by the Grave. I now activate Analyzer to special summon it since he controls monster. I activate Seeker since I control an Adamancipator card. I can special summon that. Now I activate Seeker. I'm going to activate the top 5 cards in my deck and see if I hit something. I do hit Guardian, so I do special summon Guardian. I'm going to sync off into a Raptite. Raptite is going to activate the top 5 and see what I get. I get 2 Researchers, a Guardian, and a Supplier. I do get Researcher. Now I'm going to activate Analyzer, activate the top 5, activate the top 5, and then I get nothing. And at this point, I'm going to sync those off for a Baron de Floor. Baron de Floor, I'm going to pop his card. It is an Eagle. So at this point, I actually legit have to negate this Eagle. Eagle states, if the card is destroyed by battle card effect instead of the graveyard, you can target one monster your opponent controls, equip this card to that target. While this card is equipped to the monster by this effect, take control of that monster. And I was like, yep, nope, can't have that. So negate Eagle, because that's going to ruin my day. So Baron de Floor already wasted his Omni Negate. I'm going to activate Researcher here. Activating the top 5. I do special summon Supplier, and I do get Guardian back to my hands. And at this point, I'm going to sync those off into Leonite. Leonite is going to activate, activating the top 5, and I pull absolutely nothing except for Analyzer and Signs. I do get Signs, but I'm not going to use it this turn. I activate Researcher, special summon it, and then I'm going to sync off into Crystal Ring Single Dragon, and then I normal summon Guardian. So at this point, I have a monster gate, 2 monster negates, and that's it. Feeling pretty confident. I don't think my opponent could do too much. He's down to 100 life left. Guardian, I'm going to reveal Doki Doki, and I'm going to end my turn. And like I said, I'm feeling pretty good. He yet again does another T-set. At this point, I draw Nibiru. Baron de Floor, I'm going to pop his back row. It's another Call by the Grave. Interesting. So Call by it's going to bring back Eagle, but it doesn't matter because Call by gets popped, destroying the Eagle. I go to battle. I do get over his Cobra. Cobra's going to activate. He targets my Crystal Ring. I'm going to negate that with Guardian. And at this point, I'm going to attack with Crystal Ring or Baron de Floor, and it's game. So yeah, that's it. And Baron de Floor attacks directly, and that was everything. Great All can't really hold up to, against a fast combo deck, but it's a lot of fun to play against, and I want more people to play it, to be honest with you. So yeah, let's get into the next games. Alright folks, this next game is against Megalift. Now Megalift is a really interesting ritual archetype, and I have no idea how it plays. I couldn't tell you what to hit. I couldn't tell you what cards to stop, to get off. I opened up 2 hand traps, so we'll see if that's going to be good enough. He activates Mandriel 10,000 hands. I'm going to Ash that, because I don't want him to get ritual spells. I'm going to try to stop as much as I can. He activates Mega Peg Leg from his hand. I'm going to Max C because that's going to allow him to ritual summon from his hand. So Max C is going to allow me at least draw a card. Peg Leg, he tributes that. He gets, Megalift? Megalift effect is going to activate. He gets Portal. He's going to activate the Portal. So now cards can't be destroyed by battle. He sets 1. So I draw, and then he activates Unformed. Unformed is going to allow him ritual summon yet again. He goes into Foul. Foul has a quick effect during my main phase, but Foul is going to also add a card of ritual from his graveyard to his hands. I have no idea what he does, but I'm going to normal summon Guardian because that is a monster negate. So if he activates Foul, I get to negate it, and since I control Rock Monster, I can special summon my Researcher. He's going to chain Foul, and at this point, I'm going to chain Guardian. Guardian's going to tribute itself to destroy Foul. So Foul's going to get negated and destroyed. Take care of that. And then Researcher still special summons, but my opponent conceded at that point. So yeah, after that, let's get into the next game. Alright, so my next duel is against the Aria Hormone deck. So it's like the Chaos Reckoning Beasts and stuff like that. My opponent opened up, I think, 3 hand traps in an opening hand. Which is ridiculous. So I activate Doki Doki, getting rid of my Supplier. He's going to Ash. I'm like, okay, that's 1 hand trap. Let's see if I can fight through more. So at this point, Doki Doki, I'm going to link off Doki Doki into Samurai Entourage because I do have to Parallel XC. I activate Parallel XC, summoning it, and I do get 2 more. So at this, well, 1 more. Now at this point, I'm going to link those off into, execute those off to Gallon Granite. Gallon Granite is going to get me a rock monster from my deck to my hands. And at this point, it doesn't matter because he has infinite permanents. That's 2 hand traps, but at this point, I can't do anything else. My opponent kind of won. You see, he had 1 more hand trap in his hand here in a minute. He opens with opening of the Spirit Gates, and he gets a Dark Reckoning Beast. He activates Dark Reckoning Beast. I'm going to ash this. Hopefully, I can end this plays. But it didn't matter because this 3rd hand trap comes down, Called by the Grave. Just great. Just great. So yeah, he had a lot of hand traps against me here. Not too much I could do about that. Yeah. So at this point, he does get Dark Summoning Beast. He activates Dark Reckoning Beast, tributing it to get a Dark Summoning Beast out. Dark Summoning Beast is going to the grave to get Harmon, Lord of the Striker. He activates Dark Summoning Beast to get Ravel to his hand. At this point, he activates Opening Circle, discarding one of the gods to get another card. At this point, he goes to Predator Anaconda. I'm like, this is a weird play, but okay. I think he misplayed. He sent my card Dark, but now he's going to use this effect for Fusion. And what he did was he actually sent Dimensional Fusion Destruction, and he banishes all 3 of his gods. And now he goes into a card I have never once seen before, Aphrodite the Chaos Phantasm. I'm like, this is a cool card. I don't know what it does, but I'm going to activate my Simon Grey Almirage. But at this point, he switches control. I don't know what it does, but at the end phase, all cards get banished on my side of the field. I'm like, okay, cool, that's what it does. I activate Lightning Storm, getting rid of his back row. And then I summon some Guardian, and my opponent concedes. I don't know why he conceded there. It was a straight up a top deck war at that point, but this was a lot of fun. I hope everybody enjoys this deck list. Next up, we're doing either wind-ups or DDDs. Probably going to be wind-ups though. But I hope you all enjoy, and I'll catch you all next time.